A very good evening and welcome to this edition of the Hot Seat here on 933 KFM. My name is Judith Atim. I'm your host, sitting in for Patrick Kamara, and it's a pleasure to have you all. It's been quite a busy day. It is a political season, but today we are taking a complete departure from politics and we're discussing other issues. Specifically, we're talking insurance. And I'm very pleased to have with me the Insurance Regulatory Authority here with me, of course, represented by Mr. Sunday Protasio, who is the Director, Strategy and Market Development. I'll be introducing his other colleagues shortly. Good evening, Sunday.
Good evening, Judith.
Happy to see you here with us.
See you too.
Is it your first time?
No, I have.
Okay. So it's my first time talking to you.
Exactly.
I'm hoping I'll have you another time.
Yes.
So how is your day?
No, my day has been quite busy, but I'm glad I'm ending it well here at KFM.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I'm looking forward to having an interesting engagement with you. I'm also pleased to be joined by Mr. Enoch Mudadi, who is the Chief Operations Officer, Uganda Investment Authority.
Gold Star and
sorry, Gold Star. Okay, yeah, Gold Star Insurance. I am saying UIA. Sorry.
Good evening, listeners. It's a pleasure being here. Enoch Mudadi. I'm wearing two hats today. Firstly, I'm representing the Uganda Insurance Association and also Gold Star Insurance Company.
Yeah, it's the Uganda Insurance Association. So there's UIA. It gets a little confusing. Sorry. Gentlemen, good to have you. Just a quick overview of what's happening perhaps at IRA. What are you up to? What's happening at UIA? What are you guys up to? Just before we delve into just a little bit of a sneak peek so that we know what's cooking. What are you people cooking for us?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Judith. And again, a good evening to you, our dear listeners. At the Insurance Regulatory Authority, a lot is happening, ranging from what we do on a daily, that is insurance regulation and insurance supervision, making sure that the sector, the insurance players are doing the right thing, that they honor their promises, and making sure that those who buy insurance get value for their money. So we are doing our referee job, making sure that the ball is played according to the rules. But two, there are a few things we are trying to do out of the routine. And as we shall be diving deep into the discussion, we are planning to get out of our offices and go to where people are so that we can take our regulatory and supervisory services closer to the people. So a lot is happening, really.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you, Enoch?
Oh, thank you so much. I'm privileged to have my supervisor here. As you've mentioned, good evening, Mr. Protasio.
Good evening.
Right. Representing the Uganda Insurance Association, we're also excited to be here and looking forward to the month of March, the Insurance Week specifically. Like what Mr. Sunday said, we should be going out there and meeting our constituency. A lot is happening in the industry, as you are aware, through the initiatives from our regulator. We are going to be talking about the marine initiatives, the motor third party, so that we get closer to the public. These are new initiatives that we want the members of the public to be aware of. We want to grow the industry, and on that, we are going to be really out there trying to disseminate as much information as we could. And more importantly, of course, aspects of claims. It's quite central to us. So we want to be closer to our constituency and also educate them about how to make claims and also how to ensure that they're insuring adequately, properly, so that insurance benefit them.
Okay.
In every aspect of life, business, or individual.
Well, I'm glad that you people are here, and the fact that you're here certainly means there are certain issues that definitely need to be ironed out or addressed, and I'm looking forward to having this discussion. So very quickly, insurance is quite a new thing in our context here in Uganda and in the developing world in particular. And a lot of times, I think when I was young and growing up, most times you would hear people say, no, I don't want to take an insurance policy because, these people cheat. It's like a bait when they ask you to insure at some point in time when it's time for you to go and get your claims. They scam you, or it's not a very clear process that works to the benefit of you as the policy holder, but rather it is to the advantage of the insurance company. So, of course, there's that suspicion, and that is something that a lot of people still have in their minds up to now. It's a perception that's taken quite a while to be shaken off. So the thinking that insurance companies deliberately frustrate the claims process to their own benefits. What do you say? Is that just a public perception, or is there some truth to these fears?
Okay. Thank you very much for that question, and probably sharing your experience or what you've had. People talk about insurance. Like you have rightly put it, I think it's an issue of perception. But also now, where we stand, it is becoming a historical issue. It is an issue of the past. Because with a very strong regulatory framework, we have engaged the players, and I think Enoch will be speaking to this to reaffirm what I'm submitting. Claims payment is the authority, the insurance regulatory authority's number one priority, and indeed we have come up with a number of initiatives to ensure that any claim that is legitimate, and I will say that again, any claim that is legitimate is paid. Now, not all claims are payable. Some claims are made, but they have issues. Some of them are fraudulent. Others are not payable by the virtue of the fact that the terms and conditions were actually not
respected or honored.
Some are not payable because, people are claiming for something else, yet they insured for some other thing. But for all claims that are payable, the IRA has developed a zero tolerance for non-payment of claims. And our approach is actually a stick one. Enoch will tell you how heavy our stick is. Once we check and establish that a claim that was supposed to be paid is actually not paid, these guys do not just stop at giving an explanation. There are serious consequences. And because of our interventions, Judith, I want to assure you that in a single year, I just said 2023 alone, the sector paid in claims about 832 billion shillings. Now, we are not talking about millions here. We are talking about billions. 832 billions. The challenge that we have is that when people get paid, they don't want to speak about it. It is only those probably who have had issues who will tell 100 other people. We have even tried to engage. Can we publish these claims? But some people don't want. But from the statistics that we have and verified, 832 billion shillings was paid out of the premiums of about 1.6 trillion. So over 50%, for every 100 shillings that was collected, about 52 shillings was paid in claims. Now, when we look at these figures, we cannot again say that insurers actually don't pay. That's why I'm saying that it is something of the history. It remains a perception, but we are trying with these engagements, why we come to this radio and other engagements, is tell Ugandans that let them drop that perception. Let them drop that historical hearsay and buy insurance. After all, the regulator is in place to ensure that whichever claim is to be paid is actually paid and paid within acceptable timelines.
But still on that, I want us to stay on that issue a little bit. You've certainly paid out quite a big number, more than 50% or around there.
Yeah.
But you also say there are some issues. Of course, there are cases of illegitimate claims, or maybe someone claiming for what they didn't insure for. But then what does that come to? What does that tell us? Does it tell us that at the time that the person is being enrolled to take a plan, they're not educated as much on what exactly they're signing up to? What does it point to exactly? Where's the gap?
It points to a number of issues. One is that actually people are very aware. Those ones who are fraudulent, for instance, they have studied insurance. They have seen that there is money. When they talk of 832 billion, I'm sure somebody is listening and saying, you mean that sector has that kind of money? So we have these Ugandans who are sharp. So those ones understand. They manipulate the same rules to get claims paid. Now, in a single year, we are able to detect over 10 billion shillings in fraud. Now, detecting, meaning that there are so many others which may be going unnoticed. Now, coming to the issue of those who may claim when actually they are not supposed to be claiming. Yes, we admit that there are instances where people do not understand exactly what they are buying. I know Ugandans have been blamed for not reading, but we are here to encourage people that you read the policy and understand the terms and conditions. If the policy requires you to be paying premiums on a monthly basis, and they are saying that if you don't pay premiums on a monthly basis for 3 years consistently, your policy will lapse. Then if you don't pay, it will actually lapse. Then you run back and you say, I need my money. They tell you, but this was the condition. Up to 3 years, the policy will lapse and it will not have earned any value. But after that, then they say there will be a surrender value. And maybe on the 5th year, which is maturity, or 10th year, depending on the duration of the policy, then the policy will pay up. So what we are here to do is to encourage people to read. But we have also made it easy as a regulator, aware of our inherent challenges of failing to read. We have required these guys to summarize that policy into what we call a key features statement, a pager or two highlighting the key attributes, the key features of the policy, so that by the time you sign off, you're accepting to play by the rules of the game.
Thank you very much. I'm coming to you, Enoch, shortly, but because my producer is telling me it's time for us to take a break, and then when we return, I'll give you the mic. This is a lot. Welcome back from the break. It's 19 minutes past 7 o'clock. This is the Hot Seat. My name is Judith Atim, and we're discussing matters insurance today. I am joined by Mr. Sunday Protazio, the Director of Strategy and Market Development at the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda, as well as Enoch Mudadi, who is the Chief Operations Officer at Gold Star Insurance Company Limited. He's also here wearing another hat of the Uganda Insurers Association. Gentlemen, good to have you once again. Let me come to you, Enoch. Sandy has already given us the tone for this discussion. And of course, I want you to pick up from where he left off. But also, the other interesting question is, what is the shortest time period that an insurance claim should take, and what does it depend on?
Thank you, Judith. It's a very open question. As you know, insurance claims, they vary depending on circumstances, complexity, and size. So that also influences the amount of time it's expected to settle such a claim. But we have got what we call the run-of-the-mill kind of claims. You lose your cell phone, which is insured. It should not take you more than 5 days to get your settlement. So to that extent, you find that the regulator, the Insurance Regulatory Authority, actually gave broad guidelines on the timelines that players have to follow. So we as players in the market, we have actually used that as a minimum benchmark. And we've tried to set even higher targets for ourselves, such that we can also compete amongst ourselves. So we find that some of these claims will take as little time as maybe 2 days. If it's a windscreen, why should you labor with a windscreen? We'll ask you to take your vehicle to your garage, they replace the windscreen, you go. So that's probably in a day's work. Where we need to, of course, release a payment, if it is a straightforward claim, like I've mentioned, cases of simple claims like your cell phones, that should not take you more than 5 days to have it settled. It's a bare minimum, really.
Okay, but still there are concerns that some insurance claims take quite some long to actually be settled. And what would those be? And exactly, if you could give us an idea of how long someone has to wait.
Okay, so I would want to give two scenarios. Let's imagine we've got a project. Let's assume that we've got a construction project as big as maybe Karuma. You've got construction works going there. If there's an accident, you will not expect to settle that within 2 days, because there's a lot that goes into it. So that also is influenced by the nature of the claim, the nature of the policy that you've taken. Personal lines policies, ordinarily we look at them as, like what I said, the run-of-the-mill, straightforward claims where you can easily pay. But what influences the speed, one, is the timeliness of reporting of claims. Sometimes we get these claims very late, such that even by the time we start requesting for information, it also becomes difficult to gather the same information. So that also delays the process.
Okay.
Secondly, you look at the cooperation from our clients. Sometimes they feel bothered that we are asking for this, we're asking for that. In some cases, requires other authorities to be involved. For example, there's police. If there is a burglary, one of the critical documents that would require is a police report. And police, of course, will have to go through their own process of investigation, upon which then they will issue a police report. There are some cases where even our clients would struggle to document their claim, because maybe as part of the quantification, it requires that they involve a manufacturer who may probably be based outside the country. It takes time. So when you add all that time up, you find that it's a claim which is not going to drag probably 2-3 months. Just documenting. We also have to get a loss assessor or loss adjuster who goes to verify the information. But what we endeavor to do as insurer is that as soon as the claim has been documented, verified, we have our timelines that we work with to review the information available, then make an offer, negotiate with the client. The whole idea is to make sure that we do not stress the client. Some clients who are running businesses, they need that money to be availed as quickly as possible to ensure that they are back in business. We have had cases where we have had major losses, where if on day one, as an insurer, I'm satisfied that my client has suffered a genuine loss, let's say it's a fire. We've seen some devastating fires around town. As an insurer, I can actually go and advance money, even without any single document availed. But I'm convinced as an insurer that my client has suffered a loss, and I'm also trying to mitigate the impact of that loss. I would recommend a deposit. Say, okay, fine, your claim is likely to be maybe 3, 4, 5 billion. Why don't we advance like $1 billion? So at least you start the groundwork as we work towards actually fully documenting it, and then, of course, fully settling it. So that is what I would say. But typically, simple claims should be handled
in a matter of days.
In a matter of days.
Okay, that's interesting. So you, at the start of a policy, like I said earlier, you will always educate a client, take them through. But also, there is a concern that how come no one seems to be interested in helping the same client to understand how to lodge in a claim in case the insured peril occurs?
Actually, it used to be a problem in the past. But of course, with the intervention of the regulator and even us as an association, we also find it very, very important for us. Now, there's so much that we have to do. For example, the KYCs. It also is drawing us closer to the client, that we interact with the client much more. By the time the client gives you intimate information about themselves, it also gives us an opportunity to sit down with them and really understand their business, and also we educate them on what kind of cover that they need. And remember, we are also in a market which is now I can say well served. We've got the bankers who have come on board, well trained. We've got agents who are also on board. We've got insurance brokers, the traditional insurance brokers, who are also on the ground to work with our clients in educating them throughout, from the point of onboarding, actually to the point of claims. Even if a client comes to us on a direct basis, we interact with the client. We also take time to educate them. We see it a lot in travel. People, before they travel, we always insist we want to talk to them Don't go out there and think you can go and do your cosmetic surgeries, etc. Because you get so we want them to be aware as they go out, such that by the time a claim does arise, they're also informed in terms of what to expect in the event of a loss happening. 1, 2, also what kind of documentation that will require to be availed. And if you look at most of our policies now, we also include claims procedures, such that at any material time the client can quickly go and check and say, okay, fine, I've suffered a minor accident, road accident. What kind of information do I need? All right. So there is a checklist which we also attach to our policies, such that at any material time the client can be informed. And the good thing about it is that most players in the market are also gone out in every way. That we are also active on social media, trying to educate our customers as much as we can.
Interesting. Sunday, let me come to you. What can you tell us about the annual insurance week?
Yes. To explain,
that means it's quite a busy season for you guys as well, isn't it?
Yeah, you see, about 4 years ago, we made a decision as a sector that, you see, the Judiths of this world who can have the confidence to come and find Enoch in his necktie in an air-conditioned office. There are those people who actually may not access insurance. You know, there was that traditional imaginary barrier between the insurers and the public. People thinking that insurance is for the educated, the rich, and all that. So to break that, we made a decision as a sector that at least every year we pick 1 week where we take ourselves to the public. Enoch will remove his necktie and put on a T-shirt and deal with the wananchi to explain some of the issues that we are talking about now, to receive complaints. If there are people out there who have issues and about insurance and they have not had them addressed, if there are people who would want to learn more about insurance, but also we want to give back to the public. I talked about 1.6 trillion being underwritten in premiums, even when over 50% has been paid in claims. Can we identify ourselves with the people by contributing towards causes which are for a common good? So that is the essence of the insurance week, really. We want to get out and come to a central place where we shall have the insurance players, that includes the insurers, the banks, the brokers, the agents, all in one place, the loss assessors, and all the other stakeholders along the value chain to come in the same place, and we are able to speak the same language to ensure that people can appreciate us, people can understand us, people can trust us. That actually what they used to hear about in the past is not the case. I used to have a lot being talked about by local churches, but I took time to go there, and I realized that what people say about them actually may not be true. So it's not until you go there that you realize that, wait a minute, I think people have exaggerated these issues. They blow them out of proportion. So the week beginning 10th
of March.
10th of March up to 13th of March.
Okay.
We are going to get out with all these colleagues of ours and camp at Millennium Park. It was called KCC Gardens, somewhere in Naguru, Lugogo. That's Lugogo, yes. KCC grounds, or currently called Millennium Park.
KCCA grounds, is that near the former ShopRite?
Exactly, that's the place. Exactly.
Now that's now Chinatown, near the Philip Omondi. Okay, great.
Very well.
So you have to be specific, guys, otherwise.
Exactly. And we are going to have all the insurance services there. People want to buy, there will be people to sell. People want to understand regulation, there will be somebody to explain regulation. People who have complaints, we are going to have a desk. So it's education, awareness, providing solutions, but in addition, we have also provided free medical checkups. Yes.
Okay.
We went
so there's a health camp taking place there.
We have a health camp there.
What checkups are they doing?
The basic checks that you can think about.
Pressure and so on.
Yes.
Okay.
Basic HIV, even some basic treatment.
Okay.
We are going to have that for free. We are also going to have a CSR activity with Uganda Police. We want to promote road safety. We want really to join the Uganda Police to promote road safety, because that is very critical for the development of this country. And we are one of the partners in the development process.
Okay.
So just to appeal to the people, especially the one listening to us, you tell a friend, ask that friend also, tell another friend. If you can bring 10 people, whoever is listening to us, if you can mobilize 10 people to come and get to learn more about insurance, you never know, you'll be changing somebody's lifestyle. From where we sit, we know that for sure you cannot develop sustainably without insurance, because it is the only sure way, which has been tested for years, that can make wealth sustainable. Otherwise, you have it today, something will happen tomorrow, and that wealth will not be there. So come and learn. And we move together as a country.
Thank you very much, Sunday. It's 7:33 p.m. It's time for us to take a break, and then we'll be back and pick up the discussion. Welcome back. It is the Hot Seat. Glad you're still with us. You can also watch us on www.kfm.co.ug. We're streaming live. We are talking, of course, issues insurance, and my guests are once again Sunday Protazio, who's the Director, Strategy and Market Development at the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda, as well as Enoch Mudade, who is the Chief Operations Officer, Gold Star Insurance, and also he's from the Uganda Insurers Association. Before we went to the break, we were still talking about the Insurance Week, which you say it's from 10th March to the 13th of March, bringing all players in the insurance sector to, of course, popularize insurance and bring it closer to people. And guys, if you're listening in and you're interested in this, which I think you should be, on from the 10th to the 13th of March, just make your way to Millennium Park, just in Lugogo, here, right behind former ShopRite, which is now Chinatown, just opposite the Philip Omondi Stadium. There's a big playground. You can go there. There's going to be a health camp as well, and these guys want to also have a CSR with the Uganda Police to promote road safety. Just another thing, still on this annual. So, okay, what kind of people are allowed to come? Anyone is allowed, right?
Anyone, and maybe to be very, even to give it extra flesh, the business community. If you have businesses, you need insurance. You need to understand. Some people may be thinking that it's expensive.
Okay, I'm told we have a caller. I think we have someone who's... Hello?
Hello, Julie.
Yes.
Thank you for the program.
Thank you.
I'm driving up to, but I might not be hearing, so I want to inquire something.
Yeah. May I please know who I'm talking to before we proceed?
Yeah. Speaking to Godfrey.
Yes, Godfrey.
Now, I want to get some advice from the team. Some brother of mine got accident. 2 years down the road, he was actually on treatment, I think from 2022. So now he has taken like 2 and now we're coming to 3 years. But he has made this claim like in, I think from August 2020, last year. So now the insurance company was telling him to get those documents or from his supervisor, and he did all those things. But now I'm trying to ask him how far is it, because he did know that he was supposed to claim because they had some back issues. So now, when this thing has persisted, now when we got to know it, we told him, no, you are insured and you are supposed to claim for this thing. Because you are not well. So he said from August up to today, he has not got any information. Actually, I communicated to him this morning.
Oh, okay, but you said he submitted all the documents that the insurance company asked him to submit.
Yes,
Okay.
he submitted all. Actually, I was in helping him to see that document was well.
Mm.
And I think like 2 weeks or 3 weeks after when he submitted all those documents, and then the insurance, I think they told him the incapacity which the doctor put is much, was something like 40.
40 what? 40 million?
No, 40% incapacity.
40% incapacity.
Something of that kind. So he told me, like, the insurance, I think they have rejected the incapacity. So we are trying to, I wanted to also understand, is it something that insurance can, when a doctor, as because it was a letter from the doctor which was saying, all right, incapacity of 40%. Yes.
Thank you. Godfrey, this is a very, very interesting question, and the gentlemen here are actually very eager to respond to you. I hope you'll be listening. Don't go off. Don't tune elsewhere. Just keep it here with us and pay attention to the response they'll be giving you. I don't know if Sunday you'll be the one to respond, or do we have another caller?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening.
Yes, I'm called Richard.
Yes, Richard.
I used to work in some company, Indian company, where I was paid salary, and I registered with the Jubilee Insurance. But unfortunately, before I could, because I was contributing 50 monthly from my salary, and they stopped me from work. So when they stopped me from work, I had already contributed about 800,000.
Yeah.
So now, after that time, I was unable now to contribute in the money because I didn't have any job.
Yeah.
So when I went to Jubilee Insurance in the Parliament Avenue to claim for the money which I had contributed to them, they denied me. They said that I did not complete the contract. So I'm asking, why is it that when you sign a contract like that one and somebody gets a problem where he cannot continue, why can't he be given back his money he contributed?
Thank you very much, Richard. Again, that's a very valid question, and I think a lot of people find themselves in this situation. Another caller. Hello. Yes, please.
Thank you for the program and for the host.
Thank you. May I please know your name?
My name is Gavin.
Who?
Kevin.
Kevin, yes, Kevin. Please proceed.
I just wanted to inform the guys in the studio. Insurance is well known. Judith, you can be my witness. Insurance is known for townships. Insurance is not known outside their country. And when we talk about insurance, you find that all people that don't know something small about insurance are people that have been in the city centers, to say, and also the bias it is in a community whereby insurance will never pay you. Reason being that these people don't go ahead to teach the nation all the time, putting up information that is important in different languages, not only in English. Because I've never seen insurance messages being translated, and many people who are not educated or people who are semi-educated, they cannot be interested in something that they cannot read and understand. So I wanted to know from them, what plans do they have? Because they will continue serving the minority Ugandans than the majority Ugandans.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Another caller? Okay. Yes?
Yes, Judith, good evening.
Good evening. May I please know who I'm talking to?
You're talking to Ekode.
Ekode. Please proceed.
Thanks for that, Chef.
You're welcome.
I want to thank you and the producer for really giving us enough time to really ask these things which are really affecting our lives today. Two things. One, I want to assume that all the community taxes we use publicly with the ordinary people, they are all insured with that.
Public taxis?
Yes, I want to assume that they have all the insured their cars. And we just there are so many accidents these cars are causing due to other factors, but they are doing a lot of accidents on the road. And to my surprise, in between police and the owner of the cars, I want to say that I've benefited because the car can take few days, it's on the road again. But these people who have got the accident, some have died, and others have got broken body parts. These people have not been helped. So I want to ask, at what moment do the policymakers of insurance come in to help the victims?
Okay. So you're asking who takes liability when such a tragedy occurs, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you. Okay. Yes. Hello. Okay. I think we are actually, time is really flying. Do we have another caller?
Yes, hello?
Just one more. Oh, yes, please. Your name, sir?
Good evening, Judith.
Good evening.
This is Andrew from Kisoku.
Yes, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm glad to be part of this discussion.
Thank you.
Yeah, one, I think insurance still has to do a lot in our current market in terms of transparency and how claims are supposed to be registered. For example, I work with an automobile company where I interact with most of these border guys. We tell them about SV and third party. And they seem to be so negative about it because these are people who get involved in accidents. When they go and make claims, they get frustrated. The whole process frustrates them. So I think what the regulator has to do is, one, devise a simple system which helps these people to embrace insurance as the beneficiaries. Two, the sensitization should be carried on if I go to the border and I have PSB and third party, what more should I need to have in case I get an accident, to have a claim being successful? So I think this is what the line where they have to do a lot of sensitization and bring back the trust. People in Uganda, people have not trust in insurance. Yet insurance is the biggest industry where most of us have to run to.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Andrew. And these gentlemen are here to actually respond to your questions. You've been taking notes. Godfrey says his brother got an accident. He's been down for 2 years. He's made his claim, but from August 2024, the insurance company asked for documents, which they submitted, and the doctor's report said his brother was 40% incapacitated, and the insurance company said that's very high. How do you respond to that?
Okay, maybe before we respond, I wanted to say the time may not be adequate. The time may not be very adequate for us to answer these questions.
Okay.
But we want to invite the listeners to even tell others to come for the Insurance Week, where we are going to be on ground for 4 days to respond to all these issues and many others that may not have come through. So we really want to invite you to the KCCA grounds or Millennium grounds to come and we discuss some of these issues further. Okay. Now, for Godfrey, we may need more information. You know, it's very difficult to clarify on an issue unless you have documentation. What we want to encourage Godfrey, whoever has listened, to either call us, we are going to share our contact, so that we discuss this off air. There are many questions that we may need to ask to understand the circumstances, but to give assurance that his issue can be handled.
Okay.
That one we shall handle. Then there are issues on awareness. We take note that we need to do a lot to educate people, but also get out of Kampala. We now have regional offices, by the way. We have an office in Gulu, we have an office in Mbale, we have an office in Imbarara, and these insurance players have offices all over the country. So whereas it is true that our concentration has been in urban areas, we have made all efforts to start moving out to where people are. So we shall continue, but we take that as an observation that we need to improve on. For Richard, now again, Richard needs to come for further explanation. I'm sure he bought a life cover. Life covers, most of them they are risk policies to begin with. They are not a saving. Like you put your money in the bank and you go and pick it after some time. This is a risk cover, meaning that if Richard had died in the first year, the insurance company would have paid the total value of the policy. But there is a contract for that policy to pay, that you have to have paid the premiums consistently for 3 years. So I imagine Richard did not make the 3 years, but I also imagine that Richard did not read and understand the policy that he was contributing on.
Well,
so
he wasn't
just
educated
to
enough.
encourage people to read the policies, because every policy that is sold, there is a policy document, and you only sign for that policy if you have understood the terms and conditions. Maybe Enoch add on 1 or 2 questions and we proceed, because I see time is not enough.
Yeah, thank you. There was the issue of public transport, taxis and perhaps buses that are insured, and whenever accidents happen and people get hurt or die, who takes liability?
Oh, thank you, Judith. So by law, every vessel that uses the road is supposed to have the minimum insurance, what you call the third party. But like I said, it's a minimum, right? So if I find that, yes, there might be that third party, but maybe the owner of the taxi is probably not very much conversant about how to proceed and help the victims. But with our interaction with police, we find that they actually link up with insurers. Police actually introduce those third parties to insurers, because one of the key requirements after an accident is that the owner of the taxi has to prove that the vehicle had insurance.
Was insured.
Yeah. But what we also see, and which is what has been lamenting as a market, is that we have got this number of vehicles which are on the road. But if you look at the uptake of the minimum covers, it's shocking. That almost like 50% of the vehicles we have on the road potentially do not have that insurance, that minimum insurance.
The motor third party.
The motor third party. Yeah. If you get the statistics from UIA about the uptake of that cover, it is quite shocking vis-a-vis the population of vehicles which are supposed to be on the road.
So where is the gap? Who is not doing their job in this case?
I'm sure everyone has to play a part somehow. Of course, there's the aspect of enforcement. We have tried to avail access as insurers. You can actually purchase this third party of your mobile money, Airtel or MTN, and just walk to any insurer and get the third party insurance. So partly is that. Secondly is probably the perception by the public that maybe it's like a tax, and maybe, when things are to do with tax, people tend to draw themselves as far away as possible. And of course, we're looking at the assistance of police to enforce the uptake of this third party. But largely that is where you find the gaps. People are injured, the vehicle has no insurance, even the most basic one, such that even the first aid, which probably the third party can avail, can't even respond. And when people look at the industry, they then probably draw the conclusion that probably the insurers are not coming to the fore. If you go to the likes of Chirudu Hospital, there are so many border guys who are injured, and there's no one taking care of them. And even the motorcycles that they're also riding, the passengers who are victims of these accidents have no recourse, largely because the uptake is a bit poor of that. But yes, as an association, we're also trying to educate the public on the benefits of insurance.
All right. I think we are actually running out of time a lot. But there are just a few questions. As a client, what is expected of me to ensure that my claim is paid with minimal challenges? And also, what are some of the common mistakes that clients make that affect the claims process that we need to be aware of so that we avoid making these mistakes? And also the issue of forged claims. How common is that? Very quickly, we have just very few minutes, about 3 minutes to leave here.
I think for me, the guidance I want to give policy holders is that once you buy a policy, number one, understand your policy. Number two, submit your claim when it happens. Don't wait for tomorrow or the other day. Number three, cooperate with the insurance company. When they tell you to bring document ABC, please provide, because that's what will facilitate your claim payment. So for me, I think those are the tips. Don't wait, submit your claim immediately, cooperate with the insurer by providing the documents which are required, and your claim will be paid. If it's not paid, come to the regulator.
Okay.
We are available to help. The forged claims, we want to warn now, caution, that we are alert. Everyone is alert because we know that the vice is growing. So please, only claim when you should claim. Don't dare to claim if you shouldn't claim. Don't insure with 3 companies so that you can steal your car and claim from the 3 companies. We shall get you. Lastly, please call us. Our number is 0800 124 124. It's toll free. 0800 124 124. And please don't forget, Monday 10th to 13th, we are at the Millennium Park, former KCCA grounds, for the whole 4 days. Come, learn. If you're a business person, if you're a corporate person, schools bring children to learn. And we are there to teach you as much as possible.
Thank you very much. And I think that those are your concluding remarks. If you could also conclude, Enoch.
Well, it has been a pleasure to interact with our valued listeners. As an association, we want to attest to the highest values of claims handling. We want the confidence from the market. We are here to save you. We can assure you that if you have a genuine claim, that claim is going to be settled as expeditiously as possible.
Thank you. Thank you very much to my guests, Mr. Enoch Mudadi, Chief Operations Officer, Gold Star Insurance, also from the Uganda Insurers Association, and Mr. Sunday Pretazio, the Director, Strategy and Market Development, Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda. Thank you, gentlemen. We've been discussing, of course, issues about insurance and the forthcoming annual insurance weeks, slated for March 10th to 13th at Millennium Park, just here in Lugogo. Please, if you've been listening in and you have questions, you want to learn one or two things about insurance, please make sure you attend this event. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure hosting you. My name is Judith Atim. This is the Hot Seat. Thank you very much to all of you who called and presented your questions. And to those of you who just tuned in, we do appreciate you for your time. The Hot Seat returns tomorrow, same time. It is bye for now, and have yourselves a wonderful